Hey everybody, sorry it's been so long. It's your boy Topher here with another tufting rug video. So today I decided I will finally be doing something I've been wanting to do for a long time. I've got 13 different brands of yarn here and I'm going to try them all out. And I'm going to basically do a comparison for all of them and try to find out like things like tuftability. Actually I have a list here. Just kind of as like a, I guess like a tips and tricks sort of thing for finding a yarn brand that you like. I'm going to be rating all 13 of these and I'm going to get a good shot of them in a little bit on tuftability, tearing, meaning like I feel like a lot of it tears when you're tufting and like kind of falls to the floor. Look and feel on the business side of it when you're actually like done tufting it. The price of each of them. Threading, meaning how easy or annoying it is to thread it through the gun itself, and then how easy it is, I guess the last category I'll just say, it's called yarn ball, but it's basically how easy it is to tuft it into a yarn ball essentially. I kind of wanted to do this for a while because I've only been sticking to about 2 different brands and I wanted to branch out a little bit. I've used like cotton before, but lately I've just been doing acrylic. Well, really not even lately. Since I've been doing this, I've only used acrylic and used cotton once. But I wanted to try to see if maybe, I think 1 or 2 of them is cotton or some sort of other wool-like material, but we'll see. So, also, I just recently hit 300 subscribers, so thank you guys so much for that. I really appreciate it. So I'm gonna kind of be crafting a rug, I guess, based around that, kind of like a Franken rug with all these guys, because none of these colors really match. So okay, so here's all the different brands I've gotten. I've got Karen 1 Pound, Juicy Couture. I think that one's gonna be the problem. Buttercream by, I think, Roving. There's a couple in here that are both by the same brand. That's an Eddie Bauer. I really like the color on that. Big Twist, love that brand. Bernat Softy Baby. Big Twist Cotton. I knew I was cotton in there. Patton's wool. It's a little thin, so I'm kind of worried about that. I'm reusing some of my Red Heart Super Saver. That black Karen 1 Pound is being reused as well because I just, already have a bunch of those. Karen Simply Soft. This is Lion brand. Feels like butter. Lion brand Heartland. I like the color on that one a lot too. And then I actually came across this Walmart Mainstays yarn. So basically, this is all the stuff I'm gonna be using, and I'm gonna try to make a pretty cool rug for you guys. So let's go. Okay, so for the Softy Baby, first thing I want to say is it was kind of a pain to find the right side of the yarn ball. Sometimes there's like an arrow on the back that shows you which way you're supposed to be pulling the yarn from. This didn't have that, and I had to basically just like rip its frickin', insides out and cut it. So that wasn't very fun, but hopefully, and it does feel pretty thin, but hopefully that doesn't, take away from anything. I have a sinking feeling that this one is gonna be not one of my favorites because it's so thin, but I could be wrong. Ooh, already caught a snag. Hold on. I feel like that's really thin, so kind of worried about it, but at least making these into yarn balls was fairly simple, so I'll go and rate that now. And by the way, the rating scale I'm going to be doing is out of 10. So next part. Alright, so now I've got it in my little paper clip, if you can see that. Sorry. I'm gonna pop it into my tufting gun, see how annoying it is to thread. Should be simple since it's so thin. I just hope it stays in the gun. That's the main thing I'm worried about because it's so thin. So went in pretty simple, but again, the thinness is getting me. So let's start. Okay, so instead of doing it at the very end, I decided I'll just kind of do it as I go along. So this is the business side of the tufted area. This is the Bernat Softy Baby. It is, to live to its name, very soft. Really good color. Kind of had to close my blinds so you won't see as much of the color as I can, but I'm doing my best here. I like the way it feels. I'd like to have more of the other rugs next to it to get a better feel for how it should be, just because I make so many. But maybe, maybe a softer feel could be better. Maybe it'll wear down and get dingy after a while. But for the Bernat Softy, as far as tuftability, I would say it was decently tuftable. It definitely wasn't a 10. I'm going to give this one a 7. For tearing, 10 I guess being no tearing, so I'm not wasting material. 1 being it just doesn't go in or it doesn't work. I'm going to say like, I'll give it an average 5 because it seems like an average amount of stuff came out. Look and feel, looks very cute, very fun for little babies. Feels super soft all the way around. For a carpet, I'm not 100% sold on it because I like mine a little thicker, but maybe it'd be perfect. I'm worried about the brightness that it has now. In certain parts, kind of wearing down and getting dingy, kind of like, you know, when you have a baby blanket all your life and you just have it forever and it wears down. So I'm not going to give it a 10. I'll give it like an 8 or a 9. I'll give it a 9 just because it is really nice. The price, I don't have that off the top of my head. I'll look at that later. I'm going to just put a little tag there. As far as threading it, it was very thin, so it definitely wasn't super easy to thread and be confident that it was going to stay. So we're going to give that one a 6. And then to make it into a yarn ball, that part was actually really easy, so that one gets an automatic 10. So there's that, the Bernat Softy. That one's kind of fun. And I'll be kind of glad to see, I'll be happy for you guys to see as it's going along and kind of getting filled in, which is going to be nice too. So next up we have one of my favorite brands, Big Twist. As I've gotten into tufting, I found this one a few months down the road and I really like it so far. Just the way that it looks and feels, the branding seems pretty simple and plain, which doesn't really matter for making the rugs, but I don't know, they just have colors that seem a little more vibrant than the other ones. As usual, got these little guys ready, thread them right through, should be fairly simple. Yep, smooth and easy as pie. Now I gotta decide which part I want to make next. As you can see, there's definitely a lot of contrast between these two, but this Big Twist, you know, a lot more lush. I love this feeling so much when I'm making rugs. Like the feeling of this Bernat, it is super soft, but this one is soft, lush, thick, and I love that. And I love this color. I love how much. I mean, I made it a little thicker, yes, but I tried to keep the same amount of lining between the two. It's just this one was so much thinner. It feels much thinner. As far as tuftability, it did give me one little hiccup, but I really love this brand, so I'm going to personally give it a 9. Tearing, I'm going to give this one a 5, just because with those little half cuts in the back that you saw earlier, that made me realize I also need to update the score for the Baby Soft. That one actually had very few, and what fell on the floor was very light amount compared to what's going to come out after I shave this. So I updated. Bernat Softy is now a 7. Maybe I should cut this into that one, but this one is a 5, unfortunately. The business side look and feel of it to me is a 10. You know, this one was a 9. Still pretty good. I kind of want to lower the score a little bit because of the craziness of it, but you know what? I respect it, and it's really nice, so I'm going to leave that as a 9. This is a 10. Price, again, don't have it off the top of my head. Threading, it was a 10. It was perfect 10 for me as far as threading, though it did catch. I kind of contribute that more to the tuftability, and that's why I didn't give it a 10. And then the yarn ball ability to make it into a yarn ball, 10 as always. I love working with this brand, and it's always just so nice. So really great, good stuff. Okay, so next up we have the cotton Big Twist. It's kind of thin like the first cotton one we did, but kind of interested to see how this turns out. So let's get it spooled. Got these two guys. I kind of like the color on this, it's kind of fun, so. This is definitely causing some of the stitching to get messed up because I didn't realize it's kind of getting caught in here, so. Okay. Okay, so as far as the business side of things, let's take a look. Since it's cotton, it feels very rough. It could be really good if you needed like a, I guess just a really shag rug, or like you want to use this for display. It's not soft at all. It's like, it's nice in its own way, but it's definitely not soft. As far as tuftability, I would give this one a 5, just because it was like tearing, getting messed up. It stays in well like most of these, but you know, I just didn't think it was very easy to use. Normally it kind of started tearing up the fabric. That's my fault for not really paying attention, but it seemed like it was just something I had to watch the entire time. I wasn't really comfortable using it. Tearing, I'm going to give it a 3. A lot of the stuff didn't come off, but there's a ton on the back, which it also felt like it was literally going to tear through here. So again, not really a huge fan of it. Look and feel, this is really just like, you know, your mileage may vary. It's up to what you like. For me, this is going to be a 1. Like, I really don't like the look and feel of it. It's not good for a rug, in my opinion. Like, these can get dirty pretty quick, but it feels like since they're silky, they're easier to clean. This one, it's going to be hell to clean, I think, and I don't really think it's going to be worth it for that. Price, again, don't know. Threading, as far as threading it into the actual tufting gun, that gets it a 10 out of 10 because it was thin, it was easy to thread through, and to make it into a yarn ball, that gets a 10 out of 10. Now, on the buttercream, this is actually one of the ones I was looking forward to. I just like the woolly sort of texture thing it's got going on here. It makes me wonder how much of this I'll be able to use, because like, it's probably deceptively larger than it actually looks like. Oh yeah, I can already tell this one's going to be interesting. It's like thick and it's kind of hard to get into these little slits I put in this yarn holder, so. Oh man, I used most of it. Okay, not so bad so far. This one slowed the gun down. It felt like it was slowing everything down and making things like, because it's so thick, I guess, but I felt like it was like slowing it down while I was doing it. That was crazy. So this one looks kind of similar to the other one I just did, but it's very soft, much softer than everything else. It actually makes this feel like this. That's wild. I really like this one. It's just hell on the gun, so I would not put it on the, I would maybe tuft this by hand. I don't know if I'd use a tufting gun for this regularly because it feels like it was really rough on it. But as far as a score, let's say the buttercream tuftability, I'm going to say it's like a 5. Well, no, it was better than this, but wasn't as good as these other two. So I'm going to say it was a 6, just because it was kind of like a bit of a pain to deal with. Tearing, nothing really came off, so other than a tiny bit of material. So I'm going to say, so far, is the only one's like a perfect 10. Look and feel, I'm going to give that a 10. Price, threading, that was hell, so I'm going to give it that a 1. It was too thick. And then the yarn ball, to make it a new yarn ball was really easy, but it's not enough material, so that I'm going to bring down to a 9, because it was easy to do, but not enough material like I thought at first. It's really interesting seeing how they're coming up. I might have to change some scores, because some of these are objectively better than others in ways I wasn't even thinking of when I tried to make this. So let's move on. So next up we've got Karen Simply Soft. Kind of thin. I think it's still acrylic, but pretty thin compared to, yeah, it is acrylic. Kind of as thin as like the cotton, so probably be easy to make into a yarn ball and to thread, but I don't know if it'll actually be good as like a tufting material situation. So let's find out. Ooh, they already got it ready for me. Love that. Already had it get caught once. Not a huge fan of that. Oh boy. Thank God I'm almost done with this one. Get that out of my tufting gun. I'm sure this is good for other purposes, but this one sucked. This is very soft, I'm not gonna lie. I hated tufting it, but it is very, very soft. Got to give that a 10 as far as look and feel. Tearing, I'm gonna give it a 3 because there was a lot of stuff back there, and I really didn't like tufting it. Tuftability, the buttercream that I just did was actually better, so I can't give this like a 6 or a 7. I gotta give this like a 4 maybe. Even the cotton one was easier, which is surprising. So I'm gonna give this a 4. This one sucked. Maybe even a 3, but we'll do a 4 to be fair. Price again, don't know. Tearing, look and feel, threading. Threading it was actually a nightmare. I'm gonna give that a 1. It makes me want to bump up the buttercream score to a 2 or a 3 because this one, it would thread easily because it's thin, but it would fall right out, which I hated. To turn it into a yarn ball, I'm gonna give that like a 4 or 5. It was frustrating to do, so wasn't a big fan, but the result is very nice. It's just very thin. A lot of empty spaces here because I can't really see on the back, and I kind of wanted to just be done with it, but otherwise it's okay. It's just not a really good fill out brand. Wouldn't use it regularly, so. It's time to do one of my more favorite ones I've been trying to do this whole video for, the Eddie Bauer Cozy Camp. When I saw this yarn, it kind of just stuck with me how cool it looks. It's about as thick as most other yarns, maybe thinner than the ones I usually use, but I just really like the colors they use and how they kind of blend two colors so well. So hopefully this one looks really good, and it's, you know, really easy to tuft. I have high hopes for it because of the look, so let's get it started. This one, as expected, I love it. It's very soft, feels like good rug material. Reminds me of something you'd see in like a car with like special features, like they chose this special color or something like that. It's cool because like with the two colors blending, it kind of gives it like a red curly hair look, which I like. I think that's kind of fun. It's very soft. It was easy to tuft, nothing fell out, and it worked fine. So tuftability, I'm going to do this one just like the big twist. That one's a 9. I don't really know what a 10 would be. It felt normal and fine. I guess maybe even a 10, and the other big twist should be a 10 as well. Matter of fact, we're going to do that now. Tearing. I did not have much issue with the tearing, but I did have a lot of it come out of the back, so nothing's going to be a perfect 10 except for maybe that buttercream. So we're going to give this one I'm going to give this, how much came out? A little bit, not as much as the soft that I hated, and less than the baby. I'm gonna go in the middle. Yeah, we're gonna give it maybe a 5. As a matter of fact, I see more coming out with some of the other ones than the acrylic that I gave a 5, so let's just keep it at a 5 for now. Look and feel, I love it. It's unique, so 10. Price, again, not sure. Threading, it was a normal experience. It's what you can expect from threading yarn through a tufting gun, so I'm going to give that a 10. And then making into a yarn ball, 10. Usually with some of the regular sized or thicker yarns, you expect there to get caught and to spin around a lot. I actually had that happen a lot more with the thinner ones this time, so the regular ones are really killing the game as far as, and even the thicker ones, like the whatever it was, the buttercream, those ones killed the game. I mean, the perfect yarn ball creation. None of them really got messed up. The purple one, freaking bane of my existence, did. This one did not get caught at all. I just, you know, spun it as you saw, and it went perfectly, so love that. Okay, so next up, we have one of the ones I've been dreading, because as I've been going, I'm realizing these thicker ones might not work well. This one I thought was amazing looking. Juicy Couture made their own yarn, which I think is nuts as it is. It's a very thick, velvety. It's called Luxe Velour. It's thick, but it feels thin in the hand, so maybe it'll actually work out. This is going to be a very small tufting ball, obviously, because it's such a small amount of material, but let's see what we can do. Now it's time to see how much of, if at all, a pain this is going to be to thread, because it's thick, but it feels thin in the hand, like it's just fluffy, so it's not actually as thick as it looks. Let's see if I can get this on pretty well. It's frustrating. So this sucks in that it's like not cutting. So it's all kind of like one thick piece. So this is very thick material, but it's hard to cut. Like I said, it's very fluffy, but the string is in the middle of all this fluff. So really, you can't, I can barely cut it at all. I know it seems kind of crazy. I have to like get a purchase on the very center of it. Because even these super sharp Japanese scissors don't cut through like butter like they usually do. It's like there's only a tiny, tiny little string in the middle of the yarn, and the rest is just fluff, which is very strange. It doesn't look good when it's cut. Like, as you can see, there's stuff coming out of it. I don't know if you can see it, but there's stuff flying out of it right now. It does not look good when you cut it, and I can feel that on some of these. I can feel the little string inside of there poking out, almost like it was on a piece of like pipe cleaner or something, and it all just can be pulled out. I'm not really a fan of that. So when it's cut, it doesn't look good. I'm going to say for tuftability and for how much of a pain in the ass it was, this is going to be our first 0. Did not enjoy it. Tearing, I'm going to give it a 0 because everything's falling out, and I had to cut so much of it off, and it was just kind of goofy. It was kind of like forcing me to do things a certain way, which I didn't like. Look and feel, it looks stupid, and it feels soft in the right places, but where you can tell it's cut, you can tell there's like a vast difference between the two, so I'm going to say a 0 as well. Price, don't know, but probably more than it was worth. It's weird that Juicy clothing company got into yarn though. I will give them points for that. That's interesting. I won't give them points here for it, but I'll give them points, you know, as a metaphor. Threading, threading was actually easier than I expected, so it wasn't actually that bad. I'm gonna give it maybe the same as that buttercream. No, that got a 2. I'm gonna give it like a 3. It was okay. Yarn ball, very easy to make into a yarn ball. I'll give it a 10 on that actually. I'll give that points for that because that was actually really good, but I would not use this again. I would not personally use this at all. This is not good for the tufting type of stuff. Stuff like this, and this are seemingly good. This one's okay. This one I don't like. I would not recommend so far. This one sucks. This one sucks. So, and this one sucks. But continue. All right. So next up, we've got Lion Brand yarns. Feels like butter. Looks kind of good, but it's kind of thin. So hopefully this will be a pretty good one. But I don't think I'm going to get a lot out of it, just based off the size alone. Doing the yarn ball itself was a real pain in the rear, just because I couldn't find the piece that was actually loose enough to pull out, which happens sometimes, but it's really frustrating when it takes a few extra minutes to just kind of unloop it. So, not a fan of that, but maybe I'll give it a chance. Maybe I won't deduct anything yet. So, on the outside, it actually doesn't look half bad. It looks a little cut, like you can tell it was very cut, and it's very thin, but it feels half decent. I'm not really a big fan of this. This just, I don't know, it feels like it's too many little, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a really crappy little rug you would see, and it's, I don't know, It feels like it each has its own individual little capsule that it's in. Too thin for me. Feels okay, so let's do tuftability. I'm gonna give it a 0 because I hated it. Tearing, not that much came out, so that would be actually, I don't think anything really came out. So as far as tearing and coming off, believe it or not, I have to give that a pretty high score. I mean, higher than it's probably better than the buttercream. The buttercream even had some on the floor here, so I'm gonna say 10 for this one as far as tearing, even though I want to give it 0s all around. That is one good thing about it. So I'm glad I chose these attributes because I don't want to just be, you know, dunking on something. Look and feel, I don't like it, so I'm going to give it, is it better than Juicy? No, even Juicy's better than that, a 0. Price, probably too much because I wouldn't use it. Threading, even though it was easy to thread through, it kept coming out, so I'm going to take points away from that. And I'm going to make it just as bad as Juicy, if not worse. I'm going to do 2 because it fell out too many times. Yarn ball, to make it into a yarn ball was a pain, but only because I couldn't find the side that had the piece sticking out that you pull from. Other than that, it was okay. It wasn't a 10. It was like a, I'm going to say like a 6. It was okay. I wouldn't have enjoyed using it very regularly. So anyways, done with that one. On to the next one. Hopefully a much better one. Lion brand Heartland. Looks a little thicker and looks really nice. Kind of like that Eddie Bauer Paprika. I like it. Kind of has that, you know, design with multiple colors in it. So hopefully this one turns out a lot better, honestly. Beautiful little yarn balls. Look good to me. Nothing like disappointment to get you to appreciate your more favorite brands, I guess. This one feels pretty decent, not gonna lie, but like some of the other ones, it kind of, you can tell it's frayed at the ends and didn't really tuft very well, but feels good. I'm not gonna lie, feels really good. I wouldn't use it again though. As far as tuftability, I'm not gonna give it a 0 because it kind of worked. I'm gonna give it like a 3. Tearing, a lot came off when I just cut it, so that's gonna also be a 3. Look and feel, not so bad. I'm gonna update Juicy to be like a 2 because it looks like crap. Now you know what? The look is part of it, so it looks like crap. So not a 0. I'm gonna give it like a 3. Price, don't know. Threading, sucked. Not as bad as this one, but I'm gonna give it like it was better than the other one, so I'm gonna give it like a 5 just because it was average. And then make it into a yarn ball. It kind of blew up in my face because it ended up getting caught a whole bunch. So, as far as turning it into a yarn ball, I'm going to say it's not a 10. I'm going to say it's like a 7, because I don't like it. What was that other one? The like butter. I'm going to change the tearing, just because I hate it, and make it a 0. 0's all around for like butter. Cool. Next up, we have a smaller yarn ball of Patton's Classic Wool. Green. I like this color. It's still thin, so I'm kind of worried about that with how, you know, the other thin ones have been going, but I'm gonna keep an open mind, I guess, to the most of my ability. So let's get started. I've got high hopes for this one being better. Fingers crossed. It already feels better than the other ones I just did, so let's hope for the best. Okay, so this one feels pretty good. Maybe someday I'd actually like to make a rug out of all this. It went in kind of thin on some spots, so I'd have to go over it again a little bit, but pretty good so far. Not too much tearing, if any at all. I'm actually pretty certain there wasn't much in the back either as far as, you know, stuff coming out. I kind of like that a lot. You don't see that with a lot of rug brands, so that one's really good. Tuftability, I'm gonna give it a 10. It was fine. Tearing, 10. Look and feel, it has to be something you're expecting. If you're expecting wool, it's wool, so I'm going to give it a 10, you know. Price, probably kind of expensive, but I don't remember. Threading, it went well when I was threading it. I got no complaints. I'm not going to say a 10. Maybe I will. Yeah, screw it. 10. Yarn ball, I had to gut it like some of the other ones. Nothing's ever been a perfect 10, but except for some of them are, but nothing's, you know, been. I don't know. Do I want to make this a 10? I tufted it kind of tight, so it was good, but I'm gonna give it a 9. All right, so that's that one. I feel kind of silly now because I didn't expect this right here supposed to be a 3, and I didn't realize I was gonna put these two colors next to each other, so now it just looks stupid. That's funny. Maybe I'll put some black in there or something. Cover it up. On to one of my more favorite parts of this video, Red Heart Super Saver. I use this brand a lot, obviously. This one's pretty used, and I wanted to recycle it and use it for this video because I ain't about to waste it. Except for some of those other yarns I used, I might toss those, you never know. But this is one of my favorites. Red Heart Super Saver never does me wrong. Can't say I've had an issue with it in the past. Hopefully this goes well. Or, like usual, the universe will conspire to make me look like a fool, but hey, that's part of the fun. Looks and feels exactly how I would expect. Went through great. Tuftability, gonna give Red Heart a 10 because it's one of my favorites, and it was smooth. Tearing, a good little chunk came off when I shaved it, so but I used more than some of these others. I'm gonna go in the middle and say like a 6 or 7. Let's do 6. I'm feeling 6. Look and feel, it's exactly what you expect an acrylic rug to feel like. Not quite as soft as some others, but more reliable. So for me, it's going to be a 10. Price is probably this is probably going to end up being one of the more averagely priced ones. This and the big twist, I imagine, but you never know. Threading, easy to put through. 10, perfect. Yarn ball, 10, perfect. No complaints about it. Personally, I made it a little tight. That's why it got messed up at first. I'm going to blame that on me because these other ones have been not fun. So except for this one, the green one was good. Green one, this one. And this one were good. Obviously this one was good. Some of these other ones were just trash. So, but we continue on. Now we're on to the final stretch here. I'm going to be doing the Mainstays acrylic yarn from Walmart. Kind of unfortunate that so many of these yarns ended up being yellow. I just really like that color for yarn. I guess I wasn't really thinking about it when I made this. I mean, obviously look at the freaking number that's supposed to be on there on the actual rug itself. It doesn't look great, but to be fair, I have not had the best yarns to be working with. Yeah, see? 2 nice yarn balls. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this Walmart branded yarn, this Mainstays, is actually pretty soft and nice. It's like a little softer than the Red Heart Super Saver that I just did that I liked a lot. So that's kind of interesting. But for the Walmart Mainstays, yeah, well, for the Walmart Mainstays, okay, try that again. For the Walmart Mainstays, I'm gonna say Tuftability is a perfect 10. No complaints, nothing came out, didn't get caught on anything, everything was good. Tearing, I didn't really have anything come off, and I really don't have much behind it coming out. So I'm going to give that also a 10. It was great. Look and feel. It's not as soft as I'd like it to be, so let's give it like a 9 instead of a 10. Price, it's probably the cheapest one. As far as threading, it was easy. It was a 10. And then yarn ball, another 10. This is Karen 1 pound. This was probably the most popular one I have, the most reliable one. And this is the one that actually got me my start on like rug tufting and like selling a couple of rugs when I first started out. I made my Animal Crossing rug with only Karen 1 pound, I'm pretty sure. This brand's never let me down so far, so. The black went through, it threaded perfectly. Just like all the other brands I usually use, it was very simple. So let's get this done. So now, here's the Karen 1 pound, soft. Just as soft, I'd say, as the Mainstays by Walmart. As a matter of fact, the Red Heart Saver feels a little more coarse, like the tiniest bit. Still very usable, but still a bit more coarse than this. And I guess you can tell the difference. It's yellow, obviously, but this is more of a canary yellow, and this is more of like a Voltalic or like bright yellow. But yeah, I put the black here, here, and here just to give it a little border, but I do have 1 or 2 more colors I'm going to try out. But before that, the Karen 1 pound tuftability, as always, is going to be a 10. Tearing did not have that much come off, like an average amount. I'm going to give that a 10. Look and feel, perfect. This is one of the nicer feels. Even though Walmart one's a little tiny bit thicker than this, so I'd even give the Karen a 10 for that. Price, it's a value. It's like you get it in a pound, so it's like more of a value yarn. So that pricing's probably going to be pretty good once I actually get that all figured out. Threading, perfect 10. And yarn ball, perfect 10. This is like the only like perfect one so far, because everything else was so rough in between. Like, remember these? Remember we were working on these? That was not a good time. But anyways, I think I'm going to add an outline to one of these so you can kind of tell what the number is a little better. Obviously you can tell by now, but this does not blend well with this, so I might add a black outline or something. Anyways, on to the next. Okay, so this one is not actually a brand. I got about 12 little, orb or, capsule shaped balls of yarn that came with my wireless tufting gun. This is basically just what came with it, and it definitely feels thicker than a lot of these other yarns. So even though you can't like buy it wholesale, maybe the brand I got it from does. I doubt it though. But for anybody who got that wireless tufting gun from one of my last videos, this is what came with it. So maybe I can just throw this in there to give you like a, hey, this is what the yarn you're gonna get looks like and feels like. And it feels pretty soft, so who knows, it might actually be good. I think I'm gonna throw a couple of these up, like 2 different colors of it, and see how that goes. So let's do it. So this one, I'm not gonna make it into like 2 little tufting yarn balls, just because it's so little. I'm just gonna like pull it and go from end to end like I do when I'm running out. So I'm just gonna, put both ends in the gun and hope for the best, because it's already almost empty here. Oh man, this one kind of sucks. It already tore up and got messed up right here. It came off all thready. Alright, let's hope for the best. Here's another one of those little ball capsules. I'm not gonna lie, this yarn kind of sucks, but I want to finish this little piece that I'm doing with this one and then maybe switch to one of the other colors I did and liked earlier. Okay, so as far as that random brand, I'm not gonna lie to you, it looks kind of cool, but it doesn't really feel great, and it didn't tuft really great, and it looks like shreddy, kind of like that juicy one. Even the juicy one feels better, but As far as that random brand, Tuft ability, was it worse than the Simply Soft? I gave the Lion Heartland a 3 because that one sucked and it made me mad. This one was frustrating, so I'm going to give it a 4, but wasn't quite as bad as the other one. Tearing, it kept ripping a lot, so I'm going to also give this one like a 3. Look and feel, it's not even as good as the Juicy, honestly, so kind of feels crappy. 0. Price, came with my wireless tufting gun, would not recommend it necessarily. Threading, really thick, so 0 for that. Didn't really fit well. Even the one that was thick, the first one I did, the buttercream one, that one was a little better, so. And then making it into a yarn ball, didn't do it, so. Nene, non-applicable. It probably would have been alright, but I'm not even going to count it because that one kind of sucked. Now I'm going to use one last one to fill this out, and then we'll review. So I decided to use my favorite one, the favorite one I used so far that I haven't used before, which is that Eddie Bauer one. The, what was it called, Peppermill or Paprika? And I'm going to use that to make it look kind of nice around the edges. And that'll be that. Here is the result. My 300 subscriber rug. That looks like it's missing, but right here is actually the baby side. Here are all the yarns I used. This is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 different brands of rug, all for my 300 subscriber special. I feel like the first part of everything was kind of rough, not gonna lie. These first few were kind of tough to use, though very, very soft, I'm not gonna lie. We started here with the Baby Soft, and also I did update and get all the prices. So here are all the prices. The Bernat Softy, that yellow one I started with. And mind you, a lot of these yarns, they're always going to be on sale at like a Joann Fabric, a little cheaper than this, but these are the retail prices just in case. And there's usually, like, if you sign up for like Joann Fabrics or wherever, Michael's probably has a program. They always have like some sort of coupons for like 20% off that I use a lot at Joann specifically. I'm sure the other brands have something like that. So it's a little cheaper than this, but these are just the regular prices that I'm going to give you for it. So the Bernat Softy, that one was, I don't know if you can see that, $6.49. The acrylic Big Twist, one of my favorites, $4.49. And you also, I think, get more for some of the brands for your buck. Cotton Big Twist, $2.29. Buttercream, $8.99. Karen Simply Soft, $5.49. Eddie Bauer, $5.99. Juicy, $9.99. Definitely not worth that. Lion Butter, $6.49. Sucked. Lion Heartwood, $6.49. Patton's Wool, $8.99. Red Heart Saver was $4.49. Walmart Mainstays was $2.98, which is like the best value out of all of them because you get like an average yarn ball. I don't know exactly how much an average yarn ball is, but let's say it's, you look at this Big Twist, for example, usually about 6 ounces or a medium to small size yarn ball. Most of these, or a lot of these, were small, some of them were medium, but the bigger ones cost more. Except for like the Juicy, that one was 10 bucks because it was a very specialty one and it sucked anyways. But Walmart, $2.98, and then we got Karen 1 pound, $11.99, but it's usually on sale for like 8 bucks, and that one is an actual pound. That's the biggest one I've gotten, and that's usually the best value other than like the Walmart one. And then the random brand I got, I just put 0 because, you know, I didn't really, you know, pay for it. It just kind of came with it, but here they are. Softy, the acrylic Big Twist, as always, one of my favorites. Cotton Big Twist, this one sucked, hated it. Love the Big Twist brand, but the actual tufting of it, it's not meant for that. The Buttercream, it's going to be this one right here. Very thick, but actually surprisingly good. Karen Simply Soft, that one sucked to deal with, but it's still pretty soft. Eddie Bauer is this one I put here and a little bit over here. Juicy, this one, thought it was going to be cool, ended up not being so great. The Lion Feels Like Butter is this one, hated it. The Lion Heartland, that one was okay, wasn't great, didn't get great scores, it was alright. Patton's Wool, one of the better ones that I found, I would actually use that more in the future. The Red Heart Super Saver, that is going to be this one. Pretty good. You know, I use it a lot and I like it a lot, but I personally have a preference for the Big Twist and the Karen 1 pounds myself. Walmart mainstays, but that actually might become more of a staple one that I use, because it was this one. It's actually pretty nice, good feel and everything, no complaints. The Karen 1 pound is this right here with all this black, and then the random brand I got with my tufting gun. Oh, and the Karen 1 brand is here and here too, just to kind of give it some kind of like, you know, outer look, so it looks like an actual mat. I think it's pretty cool. And then I put a little more Karen on here to kind of make it look like a 3, because it did not look like one. You'd have been like, what the hell is that? B-O-O, is this Halloween, you know? That was a terrible joke. Anyways, I gave them all scores. Out of a 50-point scale, I'm going to start with the ones I did first. Bernat Softy, the yellow, was pretty soft. I think it's a 39 out of 50. Acrylic Big Twist, that one is really good. It's got a 45. And Cotton Big Twist, got a score of 24. The only thing saving it was how easy it was to thread and turn into a yarn ball. The Buttercream, that's this guy right here, that got a 37. That one was actually surprisingly nice and easy to work with. Karen Simply Soft, 23, because it's really soft, but I hated dealing with it. Would not recommend. Eddie Bauer, love this one. This one was like the MVP. That one got a 45 from me. The only reason it lost points was for the tearing and how much yarn I lost on the floor. The Juicy got a score of 13 because it really sucked. Make it into a yarn ball was really easy though. That's the only thing that wins some of these brands points, is because stuff that doesn't really matter to actually making rugs, but threading itself. Lion Butter, that one sucked all around, probably the worst one. That one got a score of 8. It was terrible all around. Would never want to work with this one, or this one again. The Lion Heartland, that one was not great, but it was okay. Gets a score of 21. You have to use it if it's like the right price for you, maybe. But there's some brands on here that are way less expensive and are way better. For me, the Patton's Wool got a really high score, 49. Now me, I know this is a higher score than I gave the Big Twist, which is what I use all the time. It's really soft, and this is a kind of different feel. I would still kind of prefer the Big Twist myself. That's kind of like the one I really like using. I just judged it pretty harshly on the tearing and how much stuff I had to cut off. But this wool was really nice to work with. If you want that kind of feel, definitely recommend getting it. Red Heart Super Saver, that got a 46. Always good, always reliable, and always consistent. The Walmart Mainstays was actually super surprisingly good. I'd like to test it with more batches just to see if the batch consistency is there, because a lot of these you have to get in the same batch or else the color is going to be vastly different. Even though it's the same color, even if it's the same product number and name, sometimes those batches kind of worn out of dye. But this one was really good, so that got a 49. And then the Karen 1 pound got a perfect 50. Always good, just like the other one I said. Always good, always consistent, always reliable. And then the random brand that I got with my wireless gun, 7, it got a 7. So this and the Lion Butter got the worst, and then the Big Twist Cotton after that. So those kind of sucked. But for sure, I will always recommend Karen 1 pound, the best for value. The Walmart Mainstays was surprisingly good as well. The Patton's Wool surprised me. Eddie Bauer was pretty good, but it kind of comes in limited batches from what I can tell. I don't think they make a whole lot of this, and it's usually on sale, what seems like a clearance price, so I wouldn't depend on it being there for long, but it does make a really nice feel. Obviously, as always, I'm going to ride and die for Big Twist. And then the Red Heart Super Saver, one of my other favorites. All these other ones, your mileage may vary. The only one out of all these secondary ones I would suggest would be maybe the Bernat Baby Soft, that very first one, if you're like in a pinch, or the surprisingly the Buttercream one. That one was actually decent, very thick. Expect kind of a funky looking rug because it's not as consistent, but it is very soft and very nice. So yeah, that was kind of fun. I like doing videos like that. And again, thank you guys so much. Thank you for 300 subscribers. This means a lot to me. Sorry I didn't show my face as much. This was a little more important. Anyways, maybe I should make this guy next. I kind of have the colors for it already. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you later on. Happy tufting. Peace out.